Hello guys and welcome. It's Engineering Rebel, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to replace a head gasket. Now this engine is a small RC engine and it's an inline 2-cylinder. Now it's not as complex as a modern car engine, but a lot of the parts are still the same and the idea applies. So let's begin. So this engine is brand new and has never been used. So the head gasket is in tip-top shape. So I'm just going to be replacing it just for demonstration purposes. First, what I'm going to do is remove the two exhaust pipes or the exhaust manifold along with the carburetor. Now that both carburetors are off, along with their gaskets, and same with the exhaust pipes, now we have to remove the fan along with the timing belt. Now that our fan, idler pulley, timing belt are off, next we're going to remove the valve cover gasket, and then remove the head bolts in order for the head to come off. Then we should gain access to our head gasket. And don't worry, this cam gear has a little dot, so I don't have to actually put marks on the timing belt. All I have to do is to have this dot pointing downward when I reassemble this engine. When removing the bolts, you want to go in a crisscross manner even when you're disassembling it to prevent the part from warping. So as you could see, the valve cover has come off and you could see the valve cover gasket. Now this engine has already been greased from the factory. If you look closely, you could see the little valve buckets, the little rocker arms, along with the camshaft and how it's connecting to the cam gear. Yeah, now I gotta remove these little head bolts. I think there are only 6 of them. And after I remove the head bolts, we should gain access to our head gasket. And you'll also see my favorite part, the pistons. So let's remove the head. As you could see, the head bolts are off, and to make this job easier, I'm going to remove the rocker arms. But remember, in a real job, you don't have to remove the rocker arms, but in this case, I am, just to make my job a little bit easier. So the rocker arms are off, making my task a lot more easier, and you can see the little valve buckets and the camshaft. So let's remove the head. And you can see the 2 pistons and the 2 valves per cylinder. One is an intake and the other one is an exhaust. It turns out that this head gasket is actually not reusable, so that's all right. I already have a replacement head gasket, so all I would have to do is just scrape this off, replace the head gasket, and reassemble the engine. And for those of you wondering, this is how an inline 2-cylinder engine works. So as one piston goes up, the other one goes down. So as this piston moves down, this one moves up, compressing the air-fuel mixture, and then there will be the power stroke. And right when that one just went through its power stroke, this one's just coming into its compression stroke. And then power, and this one would push out the exhaust. So that cycle would continue. I went ahead and cleaned off the excess head gasket left over on both surfaces. Now we're ready to install our new head gasket. So before installing the head gasket, I'm going to apply a little bit of oil onto the cylinder walls to provide lubrication after I clean the surface, and also to apply a little bit of oil on the mating surface in order for the gasket to fuse well with the block of the engine. So I've installed the head gasket and assembled the engine for the most part. Now I have to install the timing belt. Now before I install it, something quickly I want to mention. Earlier in the video, I said that the cam gear and the crankshaft pulley both have little tick marks. Now a real car engine would also have tick marks, and it has to be pointing in a certain direction or align with the timing belt in order for the engine to be in time. So this dot has to be facing downwards, and it falls between the intake and exhaust stroke. The crankshaft pulley has a little dot, and that also needs to be pointing downwards. So once both are pointing downwards, then I would go ahead and install the timing belt. So now we're going to install the carburetors, and the carburetors use this little shim-like gasket. So you have a gasket, a plate, a gasket, a plate, and another gasket. And what this will do is it will create a nice tight seal for the carburetor so you don't have an intake leak. Well, my engine is all complete, and you can see that the carburetors are in place, so are the exhaust pipes, the timing belt, the head, along with the new head gasket. So thank you guys so much for watching. More awesome videos are to come, so please subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.